Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike, but that's not why I'm here today. This is another Saving Savvy episode. This time we're going to do a review on the Pentax Q camera. Now this is a little odd review because this camera has been discontinued. Came out probably about a year and a half ago or so, and it's been replaced by the Q10. When this camera came out, even before people had their hands on it, the professional reviewers were pretty negative about it. In fact, I would say some people actually hated it. At the same time, the people that owned the camera seemed to love it. And I was seeing these same themes over and over again. One, how incredibly well built it was made. This is actually made out of magnesium alloy. It's not a plastic camera. They also said that for the small sensor size, this has the sensor size of a compact camera, the image quality was amazingly good. And for a small sensor camera, the noise qualities, in other words, low noise, was very good. And they also said almost universally how much fun it was to use the camera, which is something that you just don't hear a lot about when people talk about cameras. They don't say, oh, it was so much fun. But a lot of people said that about this camera. So when this camera came out, it had a very high price tag of about $800. But now that it's a discontinued camera, you can find them from between $200 to $300, depending on whether you're getting a new one or a slightly used one, and makes it a pretty good deal. This one was about $250. It said it was used. It really looked brand new to me. It had the box and everything. And so I've been having a lot of fun with this camera. And this camera really did break the rules, which is why I think that the professional reviewers didn't like it. Because the trend that we've been having lately is to take bigger and bigger sensors, and we're shoving those sensors into smaller and smaller camera bodies. What this camera did is it took the type of sensor that you would use in a compact camera, but it wrapped it around quality, a really good processor, nice lenses that were completely interchangeable. You can get adapters to use other lenses, for instance. All sorts of manual controls. In fact, this camera pretty much has the same control set as a Pentax DSLR. So you have all those different parameters to adjust, plus a lot of fun features too. So I got a hold of the camera. I was very anxious to try it out. And I'm not going to show you a ton of pictures because I, again, want to be kind of brief this time. But I compared the image quality from this camera with 5 other cameras that I had, just, pictures, images that I had stored in my image library. And they ranged from brands like Canon, Nikon, Sony, a Fuji camera. Actually, I had 2 Sony cameras, including the 30V, the latest one that has a 20x zoom. It's kind of a nice camera. And I looked at the image quality of those images and the noise performance of those images, which I think are quite fine. I mean, I think compact cameras take good pictures nowadays. But in every case, the Q was superior. The image quality seemed to have more dynamic range. The sharpness seemed more natural and less processed in some processor someplace. And overall, the images were more pleasing, and definitely the noise levels were lower. So clearly, although this is a lot more expensive than a compact camera, image quality was much better. I then compared the image quality of this camera with images from a Nikon P7000. The P7000 is an enthusiast compact camera, much bigger than this camera, plastic body, fixed lens, significantly less expensive. It features a 1/1.7 inch sensor, which is about 60% bigger than the sensor on this camera, but it does have advanced features on it too. And I think the P7000 takes great pictures. I love my P7000. Unfortunately, the lens doesn't want to retract anymore, which is kind of sad. But I think it takes really good, quick pictures. And so when I compared the images with the P7000 and the Pentax Q, overall, although they're different because they're different cameras, the image quality was about the same, which I think is quite excellent for that type of a camera. When it comes to noise performance, I really was sort of leaning towards the Pentax Q, thinking that it had better noise performance. but I just couldn't be sure, so I'd say that's about equal too. So this little camera was really producing images about the same high quality as an enthusiast compact camera with a somewhat bigger sensor. Then I compared the images from this camera with the images from a Micro Four Thirds camera, my Olympus PL2, which is a camera that I really love. Unfortunately, the images of the PL2 were significantly better, noticeably better than this camera, but that sensor is 8 times the size of this sensor. So what are you going to expect? I mean, you're not going to get a DSLR-like picture from a little tiny sensor. With that said, however, it takes really excellent pictures. And just take a look at how cute this thing is. It's like a basket full of kittens. You just want to hold it and tell it nice things like good camera. So I thought I'd list out some of the features, the pros and cons of the Pentax Q. And this would also apply to the Q10, although it's a little more advancement, better sensor and those sorts of things. So pros: tiny size for an interchangeable lens camera. That's kind of amazing, and you can get all kind of good lenses and also some really cheap lenses, which are a lot of fun. Excellent pictures for such a tiny sensor. Excellent noise performance for such a tiny sensor. Many optic choices, from very cheap fun lenses to really kind of nice quality lenses. Plus you can get adapters. Put an adapter on here. This has about a 5.6 crop ratio, so put a 200 millimeter zoom from, let's say, your Nikon with an adapter, and you have a over 1100 millimeter zoom lens. Like, can you imagine that? Of course, it would look ridiculous, but it might be fun to play around. A level of control similar to a DSLR. It has a hot shoe. It does RAW image files. It has in-camera HDR, so it will do 3 images and then put them together right in the camera. The construction is superb, actually much better than most cameras you're going to find, because this is magnesium alloy coated with rubber. It's really it feels like a Swiss watch or something like that. It has a ton of little filters inside and kind of effects and things like you would expect. It has an ND filter that's built into the camera, which is kind of cool. It has 1080p, 30 frames per second movies. I haven't really tried the movie function, just haven't done it yet. And it has an HDMI out. What are the negatives? Well, the image quality is, I think, really great, but of course it's not going to be as good as a large sensor camera. That's just the way it is. The back screen, which is perfectly readable in most light, can wash out in bright light, and the back screen does not articulate, so you can't move it around, but that's also what makes the camera so small. I think it doesn't have some features that you might find in some cameras, like a panorama feature, although it does have many scene modes and all that sort of stuff. And basically, that's it. So, if you look at this camera, what would you say? I'd say, now is the time to buy it. The price is right. It's a hoot. It's cute. And it takes great pictures for what it is. Is it a DSLR? No. Is it a lot better than your typical compact camera? Yes. And now that it's a discontinued model, its price point is a lot closer to a nice compact camera than at the higher price point. So with that, I'd say, if you have some time, please give my podcast a listen. It's called Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. It's on iTunes, and it's completely different than this show. Have a great day.